long, long time ago, in a faraway land, people did not have even the simplest things that we take for granted.
Please, sir, may we have some food? Just a bit, we're starved.
Absolute monarch held all of the power.
You know, it sure is nice to be able to spend all my country's money on whatever I want. Do you like my new fur cape?
Eventually, the peasants were tired of the unequal rights they had and decided to fight back.
Let us revolt against our unfair leader.
But we aren't quite there yet. The French Revolution had underlying causes and significant effects. In this documentary, we will explore three aspects of the French Revolution: factions, suffrage, and the Estates Generale, and explore the causes and effects of these issues.
During the late 1700s, King Louis XVI was taken to trial for his betrayal of his country. The factions, made up of three groups, the radicals, moderates, and conservatives, took to thought that there needed to be something done about the king. The sans-culottes were conservatives and took to mind and imprisoned the king. Now the National Convention, made up of Jacobins, who were the radicals, and Girondins, who were the moderates, took the king to trial.
King, we're going to imprison you for all your poor actions towards your country.
I do not recall any actions that have affected anyone poorly. And who gave you the permission to talk to me? I mean, look at your attire compared to mine.
King, the French people are accusing you of committing a multitude of crimes in order to set up your tyranny by destroying its liberty.
They are accusing me, their own king, to such things? I will not put up with this.
Sir, your trial will be held on December 11th, 1792. During your trial, we will discuss your actions.
A trial, you say? Who has declared this trial you speak of?
The National Convention, made up of factions, has set this trial forth.
Grrr.
Order in the court. Today we will have King Louis XVI on trial for violating the liberty of his subjects. National Convention, what do you have to say about this?
There have been multiple crimes that have brought King Louis to trial, but the main cause is of his high treason. He has betrayed his country more than once and can never be forgiven by his people here in France.
Judge, I honestly intend to become a constitutional monarch. King, is this true? Yes, indeed.
Judge, if we may speak, the king caused an army to march against the citizens of Paris. He wished to dictate laws to the nation. He surrounded its representatives with troops. He tried to bribe with considerable sums several members of the Constituent and Legislative Assemblies. Also, he allowed the French nation to be a disgrace in Germany, in Italy, and in Spain, since you did nothing to exact reparation for the ill treatment which the French experienced in those countries. We could keep going, but Judge, I think you get our point.
King, do you have anything to say about this? Sir, there are no buts in trial. Speak your position now, or we will let the jury decide their side now. Okay then, jury, please discuss your decision amongst yourselves.
We have come to our final decision. We find King Louis XVI guilty. Due to all his crimes against his own country, he will be executed on January 21st, 1793.
Okay then, this trial is officially adjourned.
On January 21st, 1793, crowds from all over France came to see the execution of King Louis XVI. They have had centuries of concerning monarchy, but on that day it ended and France became a republic.
Gonna need.
Hello, sir. I'd like to vote.
Are you an active citizen?
Well, not exactly, but I have many ideas about our government.
If you cannot pay the taxes, then you cannot vote.
But please, sir.
No.
It's just not fair. Why do all the wealthy people get to vote and not me? Don't I work as hard as everyone else, if not harder?
My good man, whatever is the matter?
Why, Monsieur Robespierre, how good of you to join me. Well, I was just saying that it is not fair that only some citizens get to vote and others cannot.
Why, you are quite right. When I helped to write the Declaration of Rights of Man in 1791, 1 year ago, I was thinking the same thing. Here, see for yourself.
Exactly. It says here that law is the expression of the general will. Every citizen has a right to participate. And, we could talk about taxation, but that'll take all day. Say, Monsieur Robespierre, what are you doing here?
I'm quite glad you asked. I have just heard the news that the Legislative Assembly is preparing to disband and are going to not only call for the elections for a new body called the National Convention, but are also going to allow every man in France to participate in the voting.
Everyone?
Why not? Isn't that what you have just been complaining about?
Well, yes, but I never thought that anyone would come to care about us poor folks. It seems like all that they care about is money. After all, that's what led us to caring so much about universal male suffrage, all men getting to vote. All of these rich people kept supporting unfair laws, but because the poor people couldn't vote about these laws, nothing was changing. We have been slowly starving because of all the taxes we are forced to pay, and we cannot afford food. And we have become broke.
Well, I believe that every man should have equal opportunities.
Why, thank you, sir, and I do hope that this is a success. If so, I will see you at the town square on voting day.
Bye-bye.
Hello, my friends. We are gathered here today on this 20th of September, 1792, to elect the members of the new National Convention. For those of you who don't know me, I am Maximilien de Robespierre and am running for a position. No matter whether you are poor or rich, whether you own property or nothing, or whether you have paid your taxes, let us vote.
I'm going to vote for Robespierre. He is a good friend of mine and supporter of suffrage. He even helped to write the Declaration of Rights of Man.
Robespierre won that election and became one of the members of the National Convention. And although this election would be the only one granting universal suffrage for men in France for quite some time, this began the process of every man getting equal voting rights. France became the first country with universal suffrage, which taught us that every man has equal rights and should be offered equal opportunities. The suffrage that first occurred in 1792 had incredibly important lasting effects on basic human rights. It laid the path for more incredible things to come.
The economic crisis was getting out of hand. France was falling deeper into debt every day due to excessive borrowing and spending.
Order me a new outfit for dinner.
But you just bought a new dinner outfit, sire. Why not wear that one?
I said order me a new outfit.
I plead with you, your majesty. The royal treasury is empty. We have no money.
Order me a new outfit or off with your head.
Yes, sire. As France teetered on the verge of bankruptcy, Jacques Necker insisted that Louis XVI call the Estates General to a meeting. Excuse me, sire. Your people are unhappy and poor. The treasury is empty and we have borrowed too much to return. I think it is time to call a meeting of the Estates General.
The what? I refuse. We can sort this out for ourselves.
Your Excellency, as your financial advisor, I must insist that you call a meeting. For the benefit of your people, I beg you.
All right. I shall call a meeting, my good Jacques.
Thank you, your majesty. In May 1789, the King of France called a meeting of the Estates. The Paris Parliament, afraid of the potential power of the Third Estate, limited each estate to one vote, ensuring that almost every vote would go the way the nobles and the clergy saw fit.
The voting rules of this assembly is that every estate will meet and vote alone on the subjects. Each estate will only have one vote.
But we represent a large population.
Silence! The rules are set and that is final. And you are poor, so no one cares about you anyways. We should have more votes.
Yeah, and we should all meet as one body, not 3 separate ones.
And then we can vote by head count.
We are being outvoted by those fancy people. We, the third estate, have come together and realized that this way to vote is unfair to the majority of the French population. We have come to the conclusion that the third estate will become the representative body of France. We will now be called the National Assembly.
It was a big risk, but by doing this, the third estate not only put the country on the road to recovery, they put France on the road to a greater crisis.